Welcome back to my Madden 23 relocation rebuild with the Oklahoma City Nighthawks. Today we will be doing the entire of our first offseason, second offseason. I did an offseason at the start of the series, but I don't know what you really want to count this as. Before we simulate any of the playoffs, the first thing I want to do is go over some season stats for our team. And as you can see here, D'Anthony Lashley, our rookie quarterback, I threw 37 interceptions with, so he got benched at some point. We brought in Tyrod Taylor, who comes in and throws 8 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Lashley will probably be our starting quarterback at the beginning of next year, but hopefully I can cut down on the amount of interceptions I was throwing. A few games into the year, we traded for wide receiver Quez Watkins from Philadelphia, and I moved him to running back. He finishes the year with 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. Raheem Blackshear was our original running back. He finishes with 2 touchdowns and 300 yards. And honestly, I did not expect to have any receiver over 1,000 yards, but wide receiver Glenn Boyd finishes with 1,036 and 3 touchdowns. Kevontae Turpin leads the team in touchdowns with 7. Who else got a touchdown? Max McMullen caught 5, Charlie Wheeler caught 3, and Barry Whitaker caught 1. Cooper Hancock and Cortland Sutton, who were 2 of our draft picks last year, led the team in tackles with 128 and 123. What about sacks? That goes to Preston Stevens, who got 3.5, and interceptions. Joe Finch ended with 6 of them. An undrafted rookie. He was not one of our draft picks, so this was an undrafted rookie that I brought in. Ended up getting 6 picks on the year. And our rookie kicker ends up going 17 for 19 for 89%, a long of 57, and goes 31 for 31 on extra points. I would say I kicked probably half of those, and the other half were simulation. Now, taking a look around the league, Joe Burrow leads the league in passing yards with 5,400. In touchdowns, it also goes to Burrow with 46. And interceptions is going to be D'Anthony Lashley by a long shot. Literally double or more than double than the second place guys of Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, and Tom Brady. Jonathan Taylor leads the league in yards and in carries, and also in touchdowns, with 21 of them. Zeke got 19, and Josh Jacobs also got 19. And a stat I don't want to be leading, quarterback D'Anthony Lashley led the league in fumbles with 9. And Stephon Diggs leads the league in receptions with 123 and in yards with 1,600. What about touchdowns? That goes to Deebo Samuel with 18. And David Long for Arizona leads the league in tackles with 149. Sacks goes to TJ Watt with 23.5. And interceptions goes to Miles Jack and Joe Finch, who both got 6. And here's your playoff bracket for this season of the NFL. The Chicago Bears are the 1 seed on the NFC side, which I would say is the biggest shock here. And I would not have expected this to be the Super Bowl. It will be Chicago against Jacksonville. And we actually get a few people up here for Defensive Rookie of the Year, but Joe Finch actually wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. And with winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, Joe Finch actually gets 3 upgrade points here. And I used all of them on his man-to-man coverage. He goes up to a 73 overall base with now a 76 overall with +3 morale. But the big story here is he is now a superstar dev trait for us. The main question there is, will it stick though? Because sometimes it upgrades players, and then once you get to the offseason, it immediately regresses them back to normal. I don't really agree with that, but it's what it does. And here is your 2023 season recap. The Jacksonville Jaguars are officially Super Bowl champions, led by Super Bowl MVP Trayvon Walker. And you can see all the yearly awards there on the side of the screen. And before we get into re-signing players, which is the next thing I will get into, I have 41 players ready to negotiate their contracts. Obviously, we're not going to bring back everybody. Pretty much if I recognize the name, I will attempt to bring them back. If not, we will try to re-sign them in free agency or get other players in free agency. One rule that I am going to use here and in free agency, just to try to keep it a challenge and I feel like a little more realistic, if their re-sign interest or interest in us at all is red, I'm not going to try too hard to bring them back, if really try at all. So guys like Raheem Blackshear, Trenton Gill, and Kevontae Turpin, I'm probably not bringing back this year. And of course, as I say that, I go through here, and there's not a lot of guys that want to come back. Max McMullen is a guy that's not really interested. Glenn Boyd, who just had a 1,000-yard season, is not interested in coming back. Justin Peoples, Daniel Reed, Von Russell. Some of these guys were actual starters. Tim Branson got a little bit of playing time. Jesse Winkler was our starting center. So this team is probably going to look a lot different going into next year. We do have someone interested here. Left guard Tyler Wooten. So let's see if we can bring him back real fast. A 1-year deal? Sure, we'll go with that. He's excited to sign with this team. So I am going to offer a contract to Glenn Boyd. He had a 1,000-yard season with us. I'm not going to try to overpay these guys. I will just offer them the neutral medium risk contract here. Let's see what his player motivations are. We need a mentor at that position, not a thing for us. Oklahoma does have income tax, and he is in a, really, you're going to ring chase. You are 23 years old. We'll offer you this contract. Are you going to come back? I enjoyed playing for you, but I think I'm going to test out free agency. The only other player I'm going to attempt to re-sign here is Max McMullen, and if he doesn't come back, we're probably changing a good chunk of this offense, and he will actually be returning for us. And as you can see here right now, we have $243 million in cap space, but we only have 26 players on the roster. Obviously, nowhere near enough to field a team. So obviously, I want to try to play this realistically. These guys have no interest in coming here at all. I don't really blame them. We are an awful team. But even if these guys had a little bit of interest, like Diggs has some interest in us. I could realistically probably throw him a contract, but what are the odds he would actually take one from a team like this right now? So what I'm going to try to do is scroll down here and see if there's anybody that's even interested in us at all. And it looks like Ed Oliver would be interested in coming to Oklahoma City, so I could offer him a contract. But yeah, if their interest is this low, I'm not even going to try, because you could probably get him if you just threw like the max contract at him, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. And as I'm looking at receivers here, one thing I want to also take into account is guys like Kendrick Bourne. He does have some high interest in us, and he would also be like immediately our best receiver. So he would immediately be wide receiver 1 on this team. How many teams in the league would he honestly be immediately a wide receiver 1? So these guys could come to a place like Oklahoma City on a 1 or 2 year contract and try to prove themselves to be a better receiver. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking while I'm doing this. And here are the first 5 contracts I am offering. Like I said, all of these guys have at least orange or yellow interest, whatever you want to call that. The only person that's not getting a neutral contract offer is Ed Oliver. I actually offered him the player friendly deal. Let's see if any of these guys are going to sign with Oklahoma City here. And it looks like 4 of them have, and we're just waiting on Isaiah Oliver. We're still the only one in on him. But Ed Oliver, Darnell Savage, Denzel Perriman, and Eric Rowe have all decided to come to Oklahoma City. And then for the next few contracts, we have Kendrick Bourne, Isaiah Oliver, Danico Autry, Jerry Tillery, and Max Williams. So we will offer all of these guys their contracts, and the only one to not sign is Tillery. Did we get everyone else though? I believe so. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but I think we got everybody. And here is the newest contract I'm offering to defensive back Jordan Lewis, but these are going to be the only 2 in the last stage. And did they both sign? It looks like we got Jordan Lewis and Jerry Tillery. I think that was the 2 that hadn't signed yet. So I think we got everybody that I was going after. Like I said, if I miss anybody here, I do apologize. But this should be our free agent class for right now. And now let's take a look at the free agency recap here at the end of free agency. Rashawn Gary is a Chief, Trayvon Diggs is headed to Seattle, Justin Herbert is a Steeler, T. Higgins is a Patriot, Tremaine Edmonds is going to Denver, Michael Pittman is now a Bear, Gabe Davis is a Seahawk, and Jalen Johnson is now a Patriot, Hunter Henry is going to Denver, and Brandon Ayuk is headed to Chicago. And we're now at the NFL draft, where we have the number 1 pick and the number 9 pick thanks to the Cleveland Browns. But let's see if there's anyone I want to take with the number 1 pick, or if I want to trade it away. I'm not going to lie, there are a couple players up here that are pretty intriguing, like right tackle David Hawkins and left tackle Donovan McNair. He was actually mocked to us most of the season. The current mock draft actually has us taking running back Donovan Cruz, but since we have Quez Watkins, I'm not going to do that. And with the number 1 overall pick in the draft, I am going to take right tackle David Hawkins. I know it's a pretty boring pick, but we don't need a quarterback. We don't need the running back that's projected. This guy's 21 years old, A, awareness, A, pass block finesse. The D, pass block power concerns me a little bit, but we're going to take right tackle David Hawkins, who will have a hidden dev trait. And now I'm just curious where the next few picks will go. So Arizona will take left end Jermaine Johnson. Okay, I believe that's the left end of a player for the Jets. Like, he's a current edge rusher in the NFL too. And then the Seahawks, almost called them the Steelers, they take quarterback Joel Nugent out of Pittsburgh. The Commanders are going to take, let's see, left tackle Donovan McNair out of UCF. The 5th pick in the draft goes to the Tennessee Titans, and they will take running back Donovan Cruz. So he was projected to go number 1, falls all the way to number 5. With number 6, the Jets will take right tackle J.D. Hale. And the Dolphins at pick 7 will take free safety Brandon Devine. And the Bills with pick 8 will take left outside linebacker Danny Perkins. So now it's back to us. And I'm not considering taking this guy. I just wanted to go see how good he was. This is Christopher Blunt, the quarterback out of New Mexico. He actually won the Heisman. But look down there at his top fits. One of the other teams in the league has moved. And with the 9th pick in the draft, we're going to take left tackle William Levy out of Louisville. He comes in with A, awareness, A, impact block, also 21 years old, and he's the strongest tackle in the class. and he will also come in with a hidden depth trait, so we are building up our offensive line. And here with the first pick of the second round, I'm going to take defensive tackle Telvin Bennon out of Miami. He has a tackle, one of the strongest tackles in his class, and he will also come in with a hidden depth trait. And this pick is going to be a pretty big risk because I don't know a lot about him. A lot of his stuff is within ranges, like his awareness, his impact, and his pass block. I do know he has B run block, so here at the end of the third round, because I did not have an early third round pick, I believe that was the trade for Quez Watkins, we will take Brian Wilson, who comes in with a normal depth trait. And now here at the beginning of the fourth round, we have defensive back Maurice Graham out of Georgia. He is a day 3 projection, but his talent says round 3 to 4, so we're going to take him. He is a normal depth trait though. And at the beginning of the fifth round, I'm going to take free safety Khalid Weston out of UCF, and he will come in with a normal depth trait as well. And now at the beginning of the seventh round, I did not have a 6th round pick. We're going to take right guard Jeremy Anderson, who will also come in with a normal depth trait. Honestly, that's all I expect at this point. And this dude's probably going to be horrible, but he had a projection of round 3 to 4. So we're going to take strong safety Warren Madden, and he is a normal depth trait. Not really a shock here, but hopefully he's a bit of a better rated than the other few guys here. And with pick 28 here in the 7th round, I'm going to take quarterback James Nelson. Really, all I know about him is he has a throw under pressure, so we're going to go ahead and take him. And here is our draft class. We get a 73 overall right tackle, a 73 overall left tackle, a 75 overall defensive tackle, a 73 overall center, a 68 overall corner, a 66 overall safety, 63 overall guard, 65 overall safety, and a 64 overall quarterback. Not great, but I feel like I did decent in the first 3 rounds here. The best player in the draft, though, was apparently free safety Brandon Devine out of Virginia Tech. He was an 81 overall. And the next best player was running back Dorian Langley. Not even the running back that was expected to go 1, which was this one, Donovan Cruz. Now, obviously, before we get into week 1 of the season, I will have to sign a few free agents and set the depth chart, and then we will simulate the preseason. But that'll all be taken care of in the next episode. So just to recap, what will happen in the next episode is I will show you everyone that I sign here. We will simulate the preseason. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you guys next time.